Hi everyone, welcome to ACCA Management Accounting. Today we are doing a revision, so we are going to revise the interim assessment paper. We are going to do a revision on the interim assessment 2016 paper. So we want to push the boundaries, we want to normalize the abnormal. So now we are going to start from question number one. Right. So the first thing that I do is I read what I'm required to do first, then we do the calculations. So some of the questions is theory, some of the questions is it requires calculations. But this is what I want you to understand when you are doing management accounting. So most people, they find some difficulties on this one. So they would say that why is MA so difficult? So guys, this is what I want you to tell you. I just want you to know that when you're doing management accounting, number one, you must know the formulas. You must know the formulas. So in the exam, you'll be given questions. So, but some of the questions you won't be able to calculate them well if you don't know the formulas. So it's very important that if you've covered the whole syllabus, you should also create a day where you will be claiming the formulas. Master the formulas. You understand? So I'll give you an example of maybe, maybe it's accounting for materials. Accounting for materials about the economic order quantity and the economic batch quantity. Those formulas will be given in the exam. The forecasting formulas will be given in the exam. But most of the many formulas will not be given in the exam. Like for example, you will be required to calculate the maximum inventory level, the minimum inventory level, the reorder level when accounting for materials. If you don't know the formulas, you won't be able to get it right. Maybe, for example, accounting for labor, you'll be required to calculate maybe they would want you to calculate the efficiency ratio, capacity ratio, production volume ratio. You understand? Labor turnover ratio. You understand? Labor turnover is a percentage that one they will say calculate the labor turnover. You must be able to know the formulas. You understand? Maybe looking at the major topic, standard costing, you must know the formulas. How do you calculate the sales volume variance? How do you calculate the sales price variance? What about the material cost variance, labor cost variance, the fixed overhead variances? You must know the formulas. So if you don't know the formulas, it will be a challenge. You understand? So know your formulas first. How do you calculate over under absorption? We are doing accounting for overheads. What about margin and absorption costing? How do you calculate? How do you reconcile? Maybe you are given the profit under marginal. They would want you to calculate the profit under absorption costing. How do you reconcile? You understand? You must know your formulas. So the first thing, know your formulas. The second thing, you must be able to what? To do a forward working and what? Yes, when you know how to calculate it, like I'm writing forward, like this is a normal way of calculating things. But be able to do a what? A backward working. A backward working. I can give you an example. Maybe let's talk about calculating the average inventory, right? On materials, right? There are so many formulas. How do you calculate the total holding cost, the ordering cost? You understand? What about, let me give you this example. Like we want to calculate the average cost per unit. The average, let me say the average inventory. How do you calculate the average inventory? The inventory now that you hold. So when we want to calculate the average, we say the reorder quantity divided by 2 plus the buffer stock. You follow this formula, right? This is the formula. If they say in the exam that calculate the average inventory, that's a normal way. That's a normal way. That's why I said it's a forward. It's a normal way. It's just a matter of knowing what? The formula. So for you to be able to calculate this, you know your formula and know to do it right, the right way. The backward working, guys, you know that you can be required to calculate the average inventory. But the backward way is when, for example, you are given the average inventory. They hold. You understand? Let's say maybe the average inventory they hold is 2,000 units. It's 2,000 units. So on this case now, when you are given the average inventory, it's not clear that you're not going to calculate it. So just know that there is something that is missing that should be calculated. Like for example, what if they say, can you calculate the buffer stock? Can you calculate the buffer stock? You follow, right? Maybe. So if they want us to calculate the buffer stock, that will be X. That will be X, right? Maybe on this one, if we say the reorder quantity is, let's say it's 2,000 units, it's 2,000 units. So, right. Or I can just say 3,000 units. Let me just put 3,000 units here. So how do you calculate it now? So it's just a matter of substituting. So 2,000 is equals to 3,000 over 2 plus X. You follow? 2,000 is equals to what? 1.5 plus X. You get it? So this goes to the other side. So 2,000 less 1.5, that will be equal to X. 500 is equal to X. X is 500. You get it? So that means your buffer is 500. So are you seeing this? I didn't rewrite the formula. You don't need to change the formula when they want you to calculate something that is missing. You don't change the formula. Just write the formula as it is. Then you substitute. You follow. The average inventory was given, it was 2,000, 3,000, 2,000. This is my X. You follow the steps, right? Then you get it right. All right, fine. Let's do the paper now, number 1. What is the most cost-efficient order size? The most cost-efficient order size. Like when we order units, what will be cheap for the organization? So guys, when you order units, when we talk about the economic order quantity, we are talking about the reorder quantity, which minimizes the inventory cost. We are saying what are the units that you can order as an organization that will save the cost within an organization. Just know that every time you place an order with suppliers, you incur a cost. But what about how many units can you buy which will be cheap, which will be very cheap for you? You understand? We are looking at the quantities that you buy that will save the cost. Like for example, if you ask someone, you want to buy something which is 10 kg, is it the same, like let's say 10 kg costs maybe $8. If you ask someone, what about 5 kg costs how much? Normally, or common sense, it should cost $4. The half of this, you get it. But when you buy a product like in the supermarket, you find that the price will be above $4, or will be above half of this. Like for example, it can be sold for $5. So if you buy separately, $5. So in other words, in total, you have paid 10 instead of 8. If you had just purchased 10 kg, you were going to incur $8. But you purchased the 5 kgs, and later on you purchased 5 kgs. So the total cost that you get is 10. This is more costly, right? So we are saying there is a quantity that you order. If you order that quantity, it will minimize the inventory cost. So that quantity that we want to look at, the most efficient for us to be able to save money, the most efficient. In other words, they've asked you indirectly that calculate the economic order quantity. So EOQ, how do you calculate it? This formula, you don't need to claim it because it will be given in the exam. Right, the square root of the 2COD over CH. Obviously, the CO, this is the cost of, guys, you know this, you are doing a revision, right? The CO is the cost of placing an order. The D is the annual demand. The CH, this is the annual holding cost per unit. But now, even if economic order quantity is very easy, just know that the tricky part is on the demand in the CH. So you have to take like with like. The demand that we take is the annual demand. The holding cost that we take is the annual holding cost per unit. So it has to be like with like. So looking at this question, they are saying, so you have to read the question very well. So guys, don't be overexcited when you see the question like this in the exam, the EOQ, the demand, if you look at this, we are given 5,000 units per quarter. They didn't say per annum, they said per quarter. So guys, following the formula, square root of 2 multiplied by what is my CO, the cost of placing an order, delivered cost per order, that's $30 times. The demand is 5,000 units per quarter. If they had said per month, for me to get per year, I was going to multiply by 12. But if it's 5,000 here, if it's 5,000 units per quarter, so if I need per year, what do I do? So per quarter, you just ask yourself that per quarter is how many months? If you talk about a quarter, the quarter for a year is 3 months. So for you to be able to get the 12 months, what do? You multiply by 4. 3 by 4, that's 12 months. So 5,000 by 4, I'll get 20,000. I will get 20,000 over what is my CH, 0.192. So this is what I do, right. So allow me to open bracket here and close it here, so that when I divide this, it will still be within the bracket. So square root of, you say 2 by 30 by 20,000 divided by 0.192, close bracket, I'll get 2,500 units. So the correct answer is C. Moving on to number 2, they are saying, which two of the following would usually be classified as indirect? So guys, on number 2, they want the indirect cost or the overhead cost. So just know that the indirect costs are also, indirect production costs are also known as the factory overhead cost, or the production overhead cost, or the manufacturing overhead cost. What are we saying here? When an organization operates, when you look at the manufacturing organization, other costs they incur, they are classified as the direct labor cost. They are classified as direct material, direct expense. Those are the direct costs. But there are other costs that are indirect costs. Like on the indirect cost, when on indirect cost we say they are also known as the factory overhead cost, or the production overhead cost, because they are incurred during the production process and not after the production process. That's why we call them production overheads. Production occurs in the factory, so we also call them factory overheads. You understand? So now the examples of the indirect production.